Yo, it's your boy B Lee.
And it's your boy Kenny.
We are here to talk about the Power Rangers movie.
Yes.
So, first things first, very dope movie. If you're like an OG fan, you're gonna enjoy this movie. I mean, no ifs, ands, buts about it. Like, there's nowhere else to put it.
If you basically grew up with Power Rangers in your childhood, say for us, we're 90s kids, early 90s kids, that was our childhood growing up, every day you get home from school, then you will definitely enjoy this movie. Everything about it brought back that nostalgia of the 90s in a sense, as far as when they came back to it and brought back that 90s nostalgia. But other than that, you will definitely get all the feels, all of them.
Yes, sir. Like, for us, now that we're like adults, it's perfect. Now that they made an updated 2017 version, plus it's PG-13, so you get that realism. Like, they're basically like grown teenagers, not no watered down television teenagers.
No corny jokes, no corny pickup lines or anything like that. Yeah. You're definitely getting some good 2017, good, legit, realistic dialogue here.
Yeah, but altogether, the actors weren't corny at all. Like, all the actors did their thing. Hats off to RJ Kyler, man.
RJ is hilarious,
Hats
man.
off to him.
AKA Billy Cranston. He'll tell you in the movie what that means and what he thinks, his name means. He has a nickname that he keeps going by, but other than that, give it up for RJ Kyler, AKA the Blue Ranger. He was pretty much hilarious throughout the whole movie. He pretty much brought it home for pretty much the whole center plot.
And, the other Rangers did their thing too. Red Ranger, Dacker
Montgomery.
Yeah, hope I got his name right. Dacker, Naomi Scott, Lord have mercy. Becky G, Lord have mercy.
Becky, I gotta give it up for Becky too, because Becky did her thing.
Oh yeah, and this was her first movie too, so definitely hats off to her.
Yeah, Becky did her thing.
Ludi, the Black Ranger, he had me funny. I mean, not had me funny, but he had me laughing.
Yeah, Ludi was hilarious, man. He's definitely a character. He's right up there with RJ. He's definitely right up there with RJ.
And Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, Elizabeth Banks. Give it
really
off to her for playing her first villain. You could tell she definitely did her research about the original series, the OG series. You could tell she definitely, did her part as far as playing the villain. I remember watching an interview, I can't remember where, but she said in the interview that it was her first time playing a villain, and I was impressed. She wasn't corny. The fight scenes were believable. And you could tell she definitely invested herself into the character. But I've always been a fan of her work anyway, ever since, the Hunger Games, especially the Hunger Games, because I was a big fan of those too. But she did really, really well. She knows how to dig deep and bring herself and mold herself into a character very, very, very well.
Another thing I love about this movie is the build-up.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't the first act, second act, it wasn't too long where it had you like,
yeah,
where the Rangers, but like it had you anxious though. Like that build up had you anxious because like there's parts of the movie when you think something's gonna happen, you're like, oh, okay, and then it doesn't. You're just like, and it keeps you anxious like the whole time. And then when it finally happens, you're satisfied. And, another movie I can actually like compare it to is the 2014 Godzilla movie. How the build up was so strong, and then when you finally got that third act, you were satisfied, and that's how I felt about this movie. Of course, Saban ain't gonna let nobody mess the Power Rangers up.
Nah,
so.
that's his pride and joy. You can definitely tell he really wanted a good revamp for this. Even especially with the current Ninja Steel series that's out on Nickelodeon right now, but you could tell he definitely wanted a live action Power Rangers movie, and it, like I said, it definitely brought that nostalgia. I remember seeing the first one as a kid in theaters, so this definitely brought it back. It definitely brought it back. And I will say in the beginning, like I thought I had the one thing I had my fears about was it being drawn, like certain parts being drawn out. I will say there is a certain portion of the plot that's drawn out, but then when it actually comes to light and fruition, it makes sense why it was drawn out, so you don't even get mad at it for being drawn out. Because there's a big point of why the certain part of the plot was drawn out. As far as the character development was amazing. You could definitely see the different personalities. You see that they all come from different walks of life as far as being teenagers. And the fact that they're trying to mesh into one group as a team, you see their difficulties, you see the hardships, you see all that when they're actually trying to become a team. In the TV show, we didn't see that. We saw all that rushed into the first episode, and it didn't feel, when you compare it to the OG first episode to the actual new movie that's out now, you definitely see that character development. It's honest, it's genuine, it's legit, and you can relate to it. One thing I did take away from the movie is that, you know, it actually is really, really relatable no matter what age you are, because all of these characters deal with something that you've probably dealt with at least at one point in your life. Especially, like, let's say, for example, with Jason. Jason's character, he dealt with, getting attention from his father throughout the movie. It doesn't come right out and say it, but you could tell that he's trying to get attention from his father.
Becky, she's like the outcast of her family. Becky
feels like the outcast of her family, or Trini, she feels like the outcast of her family. Her family comes off as that picture perfect family, white picket fence, type of family. You got Ludi, who's dealing with a sick mom, who's dealing with an illness behind closed doors, that he's actually taking care of her, and you wouldn't ever guess, because when he's outside of his house, he's a very outgoing character in the movie.
And then Billy's character, he's happy all the time.
Yeah.
But he actually reveals that, he's, like missing his dad and everything, because his dad, like, is dead in the movie, so.
Yeah. But the fact that he can keep up with his, the comedic relief, the Billy is definitely the comedic relief in this movie. There's no way you can sit through this whole movie without laughing hard. Like, there's no way. If you're a true Power Rangers fan and appreciated the OG Mighty Morphin, of the pretty much the whole series of Mighty Morphin of itself before they went to Zeo, if you appreciated that, even with the character changes, when the characters got swapped out, the actors got swapped out, you would still appreciate it. They took their time with the character development. Like I said, it's a part of the plot, and you'll understand why that they took their time with the character development, because the whole moral of the movie is together we are more. So it harps on teamwork. It harps on, no matter, like I said before, you got people coming from different walks of life, and you're, befriending one another. You're actually taking your time to get to know somebody nowadays. So it's crazy how they did that. They did that really, really well.
Hats off to Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, hats off to Bryan Cranston too. Him as Zordon was pretty dope. It was pretty dope.
And I don't know Bill Hader like that. I think I only seen him like one or two movies.
Yeah.
But his voice as Alpha was more modern.
Yeah.
So I can deal with that. I felt it like instead of the ay, he's just like ay, like y'all kids killing me, like.
Yeah, it was like we said, it was believable. It was interjected into a point of the movie where it was needed. It wasn't like corny or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I really gotta give it up to the actors for this movie. Like, they did a really good job. Give it up for the CGI too. The CGI and the graphics in the movie was amazing. Like, it wasn't. It wasn't no low grade. You could tell it's fake.
One part did get me.
What?
Let's save it for the spoiler half.
Okay, yeah. Oh, and by the way, people, if y'all didn't know, we're probably gonna put it in the description. This is definitely gonna be spoiler related. So if you don't wanna, get spoiled if you haven't seen the movie yet, then stop watching. Like now, like legit now. But we're definitely, the reason why we also want to do the spoilers is because we want to, give you guys a legit review on the movie, like really legit, from like two big Power Rangers fans that grew up and, really loved the series growing up. Like, I'll still never forget when the movie was, getting ready to, when the movie was announced, like probably a year and a half ago?
It was announced in like
Yeah, it was about
2015. Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, a year and a half ago, 2015. I was so hyped. Like, but there was a lot of eggshells to walk on because you're doing Power Rangers. You're doing Power Rangers, so. But we're gonna move right along, guys.
Yeah. What else I can say about this movie?
There's a scene definitely in the movie where Rita Repulsa comes into the jewelry store, and like I said earlier, like it was her first time playing a villainous role. So you could definitely tell she was trying, to really, really make sure the villainous part came across. But you could tell, like, they were pushing it. Like, you could tell she was pushing the acting. But I will say she made up for it in the scene where her and Becky G face off, where her and Trini face off. Yeah. Because I was like, okay, because where the jewelry store scene felt forced, it made up for it in the scene when she pops up in Becky G's room in her house. And when she pops up over Trini's bed, like that dialogue between her and Trini, like, and her and Trini are going at it, I would have preferred her to go at it with Trini's character. She couldn't, because Rita couldn't have squared off against Kimberly, RJ, Ludi, or Jason. Maybe probably Jason, because Trini and Jason's attitude throughout the movie is kind of parallel to one another. But her and Trini went toe to toe. Rita, kind of put in the works on Trini, but her and Trini went toe to toe, and the dialogue was on point. Rita was, Elizabeth Banks was killing it at that scene. That was probably like one of my favorite scenes of the movie, because they're literally fighting it in the bedroom, and the parents are like dead sleep. Like nobody just like hears them throwing each other in the walls and breaking stuff and busting through walls. And then but then again, I forget that in the earlier, before that scene happened, you can see a car pulling out the driveway, so I guess the parents were leaving. But you just don't know. But that was probably one of my favorite scenes, was when, like I said, Elizabeth Banks made up for that when her and Trini's faced off in that scene. That was pretty dope.
And nothing in the movie was predictable.
No, not at all.
Like, you would think something's gonna happen, or you're about to get that relief or something, but then it's like, what?
Yeah, like, nothing was predictable at all. Nothing.
Yeah, like you really legit things like, oh, they're gonna do this or this gonna happen, and then like 10 seconds later you're just like, wow, I really thought that. Oh, product placement. If y'all were wondering why Krispy Kreme's was advertising this movie so much, watch the movie.
Yeah.
Product placement.
Like, Krispy Kreme is getting all.
Let's just say this. You know how the original TV series, you had Ernie's? Krispy Kreme is the new Ernie's.
Krispy Kreme is the new Ernie's. And I think another funny part in the movie that was kind of my favorite part was when Rita was in Krispy Kreme, and here you go, Goldar and the putties are tearing up the town of Angel Grove, and she just sitting there casually listening, and you got Destiny's Child playing in the background.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah, and she's sitting there and she's eating a donut, just casually eating a donut, like just chilling. Like it was great. It was great. I will say another spoiler alert. When the Rangers morph for the first time, they definitely did. It was dope. It was so dope. You got them fighting underwater, and it wasn't corny. You got them jumping out of the water and doing the epic superhero landing. Cue to Deadpool. The epic superhero landing. Oh my god. But you got them doing that. They fight the putties in the combat choreography. They give it up to them, because each ranger had their different style, and it was evident. Not all of them are fighting the same way. They're all fighting to their own style, which was dope. But when they summoned the Zords, though, and the theme song,
they had the
original theme music playing when they summoned the Zord. It was so man.
Oh, another thing I didn't like.
What?
I would have loved to see the actual Megazord being formed?
Yeah. Oh, I know we're skipping around a lot, guys, but it's just, you gotta understand, we just saw the movie like literally last night, and we finally got time to film this, so this is like, of course we're all over the place, but it's just, you gotta understand the excitement, like, and I'm sure you'll feel the same way once you see it too. But when they were forming the Megazord, like, I mean, I love the part that when they were fighting separately, they were still fighting as a team before they formed the Megazord. Like, they were still fighting together. Mm-hmm. They didn't form the Megazord yet. They're still, you know, fighting as a team finally. Mm-hmm. But then when they formed the Megazord, like, you don't really see how the Megazord's formed. Like, I mean, you can see it, but it's like in molten lava. Like, you can't really see how it's formed in a sense. But when the Megazord is formed, like, that fight scene between the Megazord and Goldar, that was like my final, like, okay.
Yeah. I like how realistic they made it. Like, it won't all of them in one big cockpit. Yeah. Controlling the Zord. Like, they actually, like, Billy controlling one leg. You had Zack controlling the other leg. Trini controlling the arm. Kimberly,
controlling the other arm.
And then you got Jason controlling the upper body, and it's like so realistic. Like, as soon as the Megazord like takes off, they fall, and like Billy's like, wait a minute, who's controlling what? Are you controlling the arm or the leg? Like, it's realistic. So
yeah, it's great. It's not just like in the TV show. They were just like, they just figured out how to learn the Zord all in one episode, which was like, nah. So like I said, all this is realistic. These are all teenagers learning how to control this in the midst of a battle. Like, and you got it, like the adrenaline that had to be pumping. Like, that's why I said it's realistic and believable. So like, if I felt like something like that was happening now, that would be dope.
One more thing. Every time somebody gets slapped, I'm gonna just laugh for no reason.
Yeah,
slapping was a big thing in the movie.
Slapping was a big thing in the movie. Like that kind of slap. Like yo, it was funny. Like that, it was real funny. I like what they did with that. But you don't see, like, back to the Megazord. Like, you don't see how the Megazord is formed. But when they were fighting, like, Goldar as the Megazord, it was dope. Like, the fight scene wasn't drawn out. It was perfect. Like, it wasn't, like, super Transformer-ish. Mm-hmm. Like, it was actually, like, legit. They were learning how to control the Megazord. And like I said, there's a lot of puns, like, a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of cues back to the OG TV show. Mm-hmm. Like Rita says when Goldar is forming, like, make my monster grow. Like, that did it for me. There's a lot of Easter eggs in there that you probably might have to pay attention to.
I met such and such. I met such.
Yeah, I'm at such and such street and such street. When they name the streets, pay attention to those street names. That's all I'm gonna say. I will say, should we tell them about the cameos, or, you know, or
spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson is in the movie.
Yeah, they're in the movie. We're not going to say where, we're not going to say when, we're not going to say how, but they are in there. But Lionsgate already spoiled that, like, last week before the movie came out, when they released the script on their website. Yeah. So, like we said, spoiler. We're just letting y'all know. Hey. But it was just so dope. I actually, Brandon already seen it again. Like, he just seen it again tonight. I actually want to see it again too at some point. Because it was really dope. I know I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out. I do know I have to.
I think an extended it. I think they said when it do come out on Blu-ray, an extended edition is going to come out, because there were already reports that some scenes were cut out because it was too long. Yeah,
it's hard doing an origin story. Like, it's very hard doing an origin story of something that's so popular and something that's still around. Like, you got to remember, Power Rangers has been around since what, 92, 93? Yeah, since 93. Like, you got to remember that. And, like, the fact that it's still around today, and they still remade the OG series, like, you got to think about that too. Like I said, I was still a big advocate for Power Rangers. Like, I just met Jason David Frank at Comic-Con here, you know, back in September. And Jason David Frank, like, he's still, like, it's amazing that these people are still able to travel around the Comic-Cons and meet fans that are still big fans of the show. Like, that's so cool to me. And I will tell you, when I met Jason David Frank, that's probably one of the most authentic people I've ever met. He's, like, he stood there, made sure he got every autograph signed, no matter what time constraints he was on. He made sure he got every autograph signed. There was no rush. He actually talked to people for a little bit. And like I said, it made me feel like being at that Comic-Con. This is off topic, I know, but I'm just saying. But I know he was one of the biggest advocates that pushed for this movie to happen. I know he had to be one of the biggest advocates, because if you go to his Instagram or his social media, he was tagging Power Rangers movie forever and ever, and posting articles and stuff like that on his social media. So when I met him back in September, he's that same person. He doesn't do it for the attention. He doesn't do any of it for the attention whatsoever. And the fact that he was a big advocate for this movie being pushed, and with the with the marketing and everything like that, it goes to show, he, paying homage to something like that is amazing. He's still sitting here, doing stuff that he started, years ago, back in, 20 years ago at this point. So, it's just so cool. It's so cool, man. It legit made me feel like a kid again when I saw that movie for the first time.
Yeah, this movie, I will say, is a great start for a franchise.
Definitely a great start.
We got the origin story, so
yeah,
you already know how the next movies are going to be.
Yeah, you have an idea where they're going to go. And we will tell you there is a post-credit scene, so make sure you stay for that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil that for you guys, because it's very key to what's going to happen in the next movie, as you can tell. Because Saban already said if the movie does well in the opening weekend, they're going to start plotting for the next movie.
Which has already made 15 mil.
Yeah, the movie already made 15 mil in the first day, so it's projected to do well this weekend. Considering you got Beauty and the Beast out in theaters too.
Yeah, we can't lose the Beauty and the Beast. Come on.
But if you guys if you're watching this video and you're watching it because you had doubts of the movie, I say go see it. Please, please, please go see it.
I'm gonna be honest, I had major doubts.
Yeah, me and him talked about it for months. Every time we saw a trailer or preview come out, we were sitting here yo, we had our, reservations about the movie, because we were such, we still are, we're such big Power Rangers fans. Even as grown adults, we're both, in our 20s, and we still love that. Yeah. And, I'm not embarrassed to say it at all. I love anything of that genre anyway, superheroes, comics. Exactly.
Had to do it one time.
Exactly. And things like that, it just takes you back. Everybody goes through something in life. Everybody deals with something in life. And watching Power Rangers and stuff took you to that place where you could just get your mind off things for just a little bit of, to make time pass you by, to get your mind off real life things for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with having a vivid imagination whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and that's what another point of the movie harped on. These teenagers come from different walks of life, and they took each other in, and another thing too, Lionsgate, good job for doing a diverse cast. Thank you for doing a diverse cast. Thank you for doing a diverse cast. All of them are from different ethnicities, everything. It's just amazing. Different nationalities even. You got Ludi from China. You got Naomi from England. You got
Dacker from Australia.
You got Becky, who has Mexican descent. She's pretty her family's from Mexico, but she was raised in California. And then you got RJ from Florida. You can't ask for any more than that. And that's how it was in the TV show. You got them from all different walks of life, and it was a diverse cast. This is a diverse cast as well, but even more diverse that they went international with these actors. And it's just amazing, man. But I will say, I really like how all of them are genuine in this. All the actors are very genuine. You can tell that they put their hearts into this. You can tell that they wanted to do this right for the fans. And you can't ask for more than that, because that was their biggest fear. I was watching the interview they did with Sway in the morning. They really wanted to do this justice for the fans. They were excited because they were fans of Power Rangers just like us growing up. And the fact that they got to be them, that's a dream come true right there. So that's the part about it. And I know they had the upper hand because they were fans of Power Rangers before they even know they were going to get their roles. So that they did their research even more. They even had respect from the OG Rangers, Austin St. John, David Yost, Amy Jo Johnson. Amy Jo Johnson's interview with the Rangers was cool too, so check that out.
Walter Jones.
Yeah, Walter Jones, like him and Ludi, like he gave it up for Ludi on his Instagram. Like it's just amazing, man. Like, and I cannot wait to see how this pans out. Like as far as the franchise.
To the original training.
Yeah. Twee Train. Rest in peace to her. I know she probably would have loved this too. Mm-hmm. It's just funny because they all can relate. But I will say that I know Becky G. I know she's a singer already, an established singer, but her acting chops are amazing. Like I watched her in she was in Empire as well already in the second season, and her acting chops in this movie were super dope, super good. Definitely believable. Is there anything we're forgetting?
No, I mean, other than that, for a letter grade, I give it a B plus. Letter grade, I give it.
I give it a B plus as well, because you got to remember it was an origin story. So, like we said, there was a main part of the plot that's drawn out. Mm-hmm. That's probably what made me give it a B plus, because the main part of the plot was drawn out. But towards the end, towards the end of the movie, everything made sense. Nothing was rushed, like Fantastic Four. But that was my other fear too, by the way.
We didn't want a Fantastic Four.
We didn't want a Fantastic Four do-over. You already know how that movie happened in the box office. We're not going to elaborate on that, but that was my fear, is that if you seen that new remake of the Fantastic Four, that was my fear. Other than that, yeah, that's all I got.
So, if you like what you see, comment, like,
subscribe,
dislike,
be honest.
Subscribe, be honest.
Hey, we're just, we're just in the bedroom, just recording that we like the movie, man. Hey, I mean, if you want to drop a bad comment, appreciate that too. Just make sure you get out and see that movie regardless. We're just, two big fans that wanted to share our opinion.
Alright, we out.
Peace.